Hello everybody, and let me welcome you to this video. Just wanted to put together some guidelines and a little walkthrough of what it's going to be like to come to church on Sunday morning if you're joining us. There is no pressure, so don't worry about it if you're not coming, but if you are, hopefully this will help you to know what to expect. If you come to the front of the church or park here normally, you'll be greeted with this sign. The front doors are not in use for entry, they're only for exit, and we do kindly ask you please to enter the church through the rear doors, and you can make your way round either side of the church building and round to the back. If you need access or close access to the door, there are disabled spots at the back, and you can avail of those. As you arrive at church, folks, you'll enter through the rear doors into the rear foyer, and you'll be greeted by some directional signage, and we would ask you please to follow the one-way system as you enter church. If you're feeling unwell in any way, we would ask you not to come to church, and if you do, we would ask you please to return home. You'll notice that the toilets in our rear foyer are not in use. The ones in the main foyer are. However, we would ask that you would only use the toilets if you really have to. As you move into the hall, this is where we will queue to get into church. Due to social distancing, we would ask you please to refrain from handshaking and to use the sanitizer that has been provided. As you enter into the hall, you'll see the markings on the floor that'll keep us socially distanced, and do please observe these. And the whole way down the hall, there are the sanitizing stations. Not everybody needs to go to the first station. They're all the way down, so do please avail of those and keep moving down. Take a wee moment, please, as you're queuing to read and familiarise yourself with the key messages and the guidelines that we're seeking to adhere. As you move down the hall, you'll make your way into the main foyer, and just to draw your attention to the fact that the kitchen is out of bounds, so we would ask you please not to use the kitchen for any reason. As you come to this final table, you'll notice that there are masks. These are not mandatory, but if you feel that you would like to avail of a face mask, do please lift one and keep moving. The one thing we would ask you is that when you use a mask and you're finished with it, keep it with you and dispose of it at home. Keep your moving forward. Now, families obviously can stay together. Do follow the one-way system as you come into the main foyer. And again, do observe the notices that have been placed around the church. Continue to queue the whole way down into the main church sanctuary, and do please observe this notice. There is only one way into the church sanctuary. Don't please use the minor hall. If you're going into the minor hall, you will be directed by a deacon. Also, the main doors are for exit only, and we'll say a little bit about that in a moment. As you come to the main sanctuary, you will come right up to these queuing points. And at this point, just again to note that the upstairs, again, is there's no access for upstairs, so do please remember that. Also, the coat rack, we would ask you please not to leave any personal belongings and not to use the coat rack at this time. As you come to the main auditorium, you'll come to these queuing points, and this is where we would ask you please to kindly stop and queue here, and this is where you will be collected by one of the deacons, and the deacons will direct you to ushers. So there will be a deacon here at the entrance to the main church, and then there will be deacons in either aisle. You will be led up the church to an appropriate seat. As you can see, the pews are spaced out. There's one in use and there's one not in use, and we've also put this protective film on the back of the pews just to keep them free from anything that would linger. When it comes time to leave the service, at the end, we would ask you please to stay in your seats, and deacons will direct you. There are 3 exits out of the church. These doors will be open at the end of the service, and one row will be led out of these doors and out through the side of the building. Another row will be led out by a deacon back up through the main foyer and out the main door. So that's the two exits for those in the church auditorium. If you happen to be seated in the minor hall, and this will only be used as an overflow, then anybody who is sitting in here will be led out again by a deacon through this exit door. And again, this door is for exit only, and do please observe that. As you come into the back hall, again, just a reminder that the back stairwell is out of bounds and there is no access. Coming to leave, this door will be open, and you will leave the church for those exiting through the back foyer through the rear doors. Folks, we're looking forward to seeing you on the Lord's Day, and hopefully this will maybe break down any anxieties or worries that you have. And do please follow these things. We've done our best to put them in place, and we hope that you will enjoy coming to church as much as possible, and we look forward to seeing you. If you have any questions, do please feel free to contact any one of the elders.